Welcome to my channel on the best of fantasy. These are the weeks that were, are, and shall be. Let's begin with a little bit of an update on the Edan Trilogy audiobook as narrated by Alan from the Library of Alexandria. I think we are getting closer to the point where I will be able to give you a firm date, but for now, I believe that the audiobook for The Way of Edan is likely to be ready by July of this year, so I'm very excited about that. I have been privileged to hear some samples, and I am so excited for people to hear Alan's narration. I think it is absolutely brilliant. His voices are just perfect. He has an array of voices that he brings to this narration, and I think people are really going to enjoy it a lot. Also, there will be, I hope, some news in the near future about a special edition as well of The Way of Edan, but I can't say too much about that yet. Nothing is quite firm yet, but things are in the works, and I hope that the next time perhaps I'll be able to announce something, but we'll see. But there is something I'm really, really excited about in the works in regard to a special edition as well. Let's talk about SPFBO, the self-published fantasy blog off the contest started by Mark Lawrence. I was privileged to be a judge for SPFBO 9, or SPIFBO 9 as it might be called. And that is all done. We have a winner, and it is none other than Murder at Spindle Manor by Morgan Stang, which happens to be the book that I, as a judge, forwarded as a finalist. That book won the entire contest for SPFBO 9, and I couldn't be happier. I am so thrilled that this really wonderful book, Murder at Spindle Manor, won the contest. It's a wonderful murder mystery, steampunk, very atmospheric read. I had a great time reading it myself, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have forwarded it to be a finalist. Brilliant book, fully deserving of the win. I also want to shout out another book that I read, another finalist for SPFBO, and the author was kind enough to send me a copy, and that is Hills of Heather and Bone. This one actually came in second place, 0.5 points, half a point behind, I believe it was, or was it 0.05? 0.05, not 0.5, excuse me, 0.05, not even half a point. A tiny, just the difference is so small. But this is such a beautiful book. I really enjoyed Hills of Heather and Bone. Maybe one of my most favorite self-published fantasy reads I've ever come across. Just a beautiful one. And look at this gorgeous edition here that K.E. Andrews was kind enough to send me. It's really fantastic. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's a beautiful color. And it's just got these wonderful illustrations as well. Just such a gorgeous book. And the story itself, even more importantly to me, I mean, I do love beautiful books and special editions, but the story itself is so beautiful. It's a story of a married couple. It is a story of love and grief. It is a story of sorrow and beauty. It is just done so well. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to that. Yeah, SPFBO 9 was a thrill, and now we are on to SPFBO 10, or as it's being called because of the Roman numeral for 10 is an X, Spiffbox. Yes, Spiffbox is on. By the time this video comes out, I may even know who the authors, the books that I'm going to be judging that will be in my group this year, because I am again going to be a judge for Spiffbo, or Spiffbox, as we are now calling it. It just rolls right off the tongue, so why not? And I'm so excited to be working with my team, with Angela from Do Unicorns Read, and with Brian from Belltube, and Matt from Go Read Books, and Von Roycroft, who is himself a self-published author of one of my other favorites, The Severing Sun, and the Sunder Nation trilogy in general. Just brilliant stuff. Bold Ascension came out recently. That was book 2, and he's going to have book 3 out pretty soon as well. So he's going to be a judge too. He does not have a channel. He's the only one of the one on my team that does not have a channel. But there is Abel Montero and also Sam Harrison. What a great group, and they are going to be helping me to narrow down things to 6 final semi-finalists for the 30 that are going to be assigned to my group. And then from those 6 semifinalists, I'll have to decide on a finalist. But that is in the future. But I'm really excited for Spiffbox to be underway. And I encourage you, if you are at all interested in self-published fantasy or just great fantasy, to follow along with the contest. The people I just mentioned are going to be putting out reviews. Other judge panels are going to be putting out reviews. There's a lot of wonderful reads that you'll encounter from SPFBO. Now, I want to give a huge thank you to all the new people around the channel, the people who have subscribed recently. We've had an influx of subscribers on the channel, and I could not be happier. And a lot of that, probably the vast majority of that, is due to the videos I've been putting out on One Piece. So thank you so much, all you beautiful One Piece fans who are out there who have found the channel. And some of you are just interested in One Piece, which is great. Others of you are also fantasy fans and have started to watch some of the other videos that I have on the channel, which is also fantastic. I'm just really happy to be interacting with everybody. And I have to say, the reception from the One Piece fandom has been so beautiful and so heartwarming. I mean, just really great feedback and people being helpful, giving tips, and avoiding spoilers in the comments. Just a very positive experience for me, and that is helping me to enjoy One Piece even more. So I'm really feeling great about that. So thank you guys for being around. I'm really grateful for all the encouragement and the kindness that you have shown. Now on the channel, what have I been up to? Well, geez, I mentioned SPFBO. Since the last time I did a Weeks That Were video, I did review 5 of those finalists, and you can find those in my playlist, the SPFBO 9 playlist that is on my channel. But yes, I did 5 of the 10 finalist reviews just in the last month or so. And also I have done these One Piece videos that I just alluded to. I put out my thoughts on the East Blue Saga, the Alabasta or Arabasta Saga, and the Skypiea Saga. And I am going to be continuing shortly with the next saga, which a lot of people, I think it's called Water 7, and a lot of people single that one out as one of the greatest, so I'm really excited for that one. And I also did some videos, some wonderful conversations with some great people, Dear Dr. Fantasy episodes. I love my Dear Dr. Fantasy shows because I get to talk one-on-one with my fellow booktubers out there, including Angie, from Angie the Bookaholic. Had a great discussion with her. We talked about an array of things, of course, fantasy and lots of other book-related things, but also talked about South Asian cinema and just a wonderful array of things. And I had a Dear Dr. Fantasy episode with Jared from the Fantasy Thinker as well. What a great guy. Jared is a fantastic fella. So glad to have such good friends here on this platform. Wonderful people, and I'm going to continue doing these episodes of Dear Dr. Fantasy. I'm hoping to do at least 300 of them. So I have a ways to go. I'm in the 50s right now, but I have a lot of just fun talking to all the people who love fantasy around here. And I put out a top 10 fantasy authors video. This was a kind of a compilation of all those videos. I made 7 videos about authors, the fantasy authors who make me laugh, the ones who make me cry, the ones who make me think with the greatest prose and action and so on and so forth. I made 7 of those videos, and I came up with a point system, putting them all together to basically come to a firm conclusion, at least for the moment, about who my top 10 fantasy authors are. That was fun. I actually had more fun than I thought I would putting that together, because I really don't like doing these top 10 lists. But I did, I hope anyway, achieve some measure of nuance and picking apart what it is I like about these particular authors. What do they do well? What is it about their storytelling that is so compelling? How is it that they reach us and make us feel that these are such wonderful books? And that is certainly worth talking about. And if I can use a top 10 format for that, why not? So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Had a great time with the feedback on that video as well. Elsewhere on BookTube, I have been up to some, not quite mischief, but some good times. And that includes a discussion on Angela's channel, Do Unicorns Read, about fantasy and religion. That was a really great panel with some brilliant input from some really smart people, and I also was there, so that was a lot of fun. Also was on Page Chewing, which is a wonderful, if you're not familiar with it, it's a wonderful series done primarily these days by P.L. Stewart and Taylor from Made Between the Pages, and they're always interviewing authors and other booktubers and just the people in this community and doing a wonderful job of it. But we had a great discussion with a bunch of smart people, including the author Jenny Wirtz, A.P. Canavan from A Critical Dragon, John Morrow, and myself. And we were talking with Taylor and with PL. Great conversation. Check it out. And also, I am privileged that Carlos and Yolanda from StoryTube are having a month. They must be masochists because they're having a month of Philip. They're reading a bunch of books that I like, including Beowulf and some Malazan stuff and some Mark Lawrence books, and they're just going for it here. I think they're actually fans already of Malazan and Mark Lawrence. So fortunately for them, there is some overlap in our tastes, but they're also reading some stuff I'll be very interested to see their feedback on. And after this month of Philip, as it's called, they've done a month of Jimmy. They've done a month of, they've done other booktubers and such already. And I'm privileged to be included in this this group of people that they are reading books of the favorites of the people that they are. I don't know what to call it exactly. Studying. Maybe they'll know how my mind works after reading all these books. Ooh, that could be dangerous. But anyway, I'll be keen to see what they make of the books that they've selected from my various eclectic tastes. And I also had a great chat with Johan from Library of a Viking. This was just a kind of a controversial opinion video, hot take, whatever it's called, unpopular opinion. That's the term, unpopular opinion video. I got myself in a bit of trouble over there on Library of a Viking. I had a good time doing it though. I also, oh, by the way, I'm going to be in another chat with Johan. We recorded it already, and I think it'll be out in the next couple of weeks or so, but a discussion on Tolkien and Lord of the Rings and why what it has given to fantasy readers over the years, and why is it still read, what makes it a work that still speaks to people, that sort of thing. So that's going to be, I think, I had a great time with that discussion, a really grand time. So be on the lookout for that. I also had a discussion with Britton from Some Okie Dude, and we talked about The Way of Edan, which he read and reviewed, and he put out a very eloquent review, actually, on Goodreads, not only on the book itself, but he used it as a sort of an opportunity to meditate on the state of fantasy, as it were, and I thought he did a really good job of that, so that is a review that is very much worth checking out. And I was in a chat with Joanna and AP on Grand Conspiracy. That's book, what are we on now? 5 of, of The Wars of Light and Shadow by Jenny Wirtz, the incomparable Jenny Wirtz. What a great series. Just continue to be astounded by the vastness and the beauty and the sublimity of Jenny Wirtz's writing. And I was in a great just get-together party, as it were, on BellTube. It was Brian's birthday and 6-month anniversary or 6-month anniversary or whatever for his channel, and it was a good excuse to get together and have a lot of fun. So that's over on BellTube. What a great fella he is. If you haven't checked out BellTube, it is one of the most fun channels around. So what am I reading? Well, I just finished the book that broke the world. Finished it yesterday, actually, and I will be putting out a dedicated review. I'm trying to keep a poker face right now so that you do not know my feelings yet about this book, and that you will check out the dedicated review that I will be putting out, probably coming out on Tuesday. Perfect poker face right here. You cannot tell how much I liked, or even whether I liked this book, though I will say its predecessor, The Book That Wouldn't Burn, was my favorite book of 2023, so I definitely came into this one with some high expectations and hopes. And keeping this poker face, I have an excellent poker face. You cannot tell. They even kicked me out of Las Vegas because of this face right here. So yeah, I will be revealing my thoughts on this. Oh, look at the beautiful, I'm talking about the cover now. The cover is beautiful, isn't it? That is something gorgeous. So I will be revealing my thoughts on Tuesday. And what am I reading now? I am reading R. Scott Baker's The Judging Eye. This is the first part of the Aspect Emperor series. Those are the last 4 books of the second Apocalypse series, which begins with the trilogy Prince of Nothing. Does that make sense? So there's a trilogy, Prince of Nothing, and then there's the tetralogy, the 4 books that follow that are the Aspect Emperor, and all 7 together are the second Apocalypse by R. Scott Baker. I am actually really looking forward to returning to this very bleak world that R. Scott Baker opened up in the Prince of Nothing trilogy. I had a great time, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but he is a brilliant, brilliant author. He is a genius. He is got magnificent prose. There's a lot of great thought that is woven into the story. He has a background in philosophy. And it is a very bleak world, though, and he explores things like whether or not we have any free will at all, and he is not afraid of portraying humanity at a most primal level. Let's put it that way. So it is, yeah, it gets pretty disturbing at times, and I think sometimes that's good to be disturbed by what you're reading, because we need to be challenged. We need sometimes to have a mirror held up to us, and I think R. Scott Baker is pretty brilliant at that. It may not always be a pleasant experience, but my hat's off to him for his brilliance. And I do think that I will get a lot from reading those books, and I'm going to be reading them with Joanna and discussing them with her. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm also going to be reading after that, just this probably will be my read after that, Ryan Cahill's The Fall, the novella, and Of Blood and Fire, the first book in The Bound and the Broken. Very excited about this. I'm going to be in a series of discussions. I'll probably review them as well. But I'm going to be in a series of discussions on these books with a great group of people. John from Talking Story is going to be there, and Angela from Do Unicorns Read, and also Christopher Navo. So the 4 of us are going to be talking about this, and we might be able to get, I hope we'll be able to get Mike in as well. Mike is the reason, Mike from Mike's Book Reviews, of course. He is the reason I'm reading The Bound and the Broken. He really did an amazing job, as he always does, of talking up this series and making me feel like, wow, I have to read this. So good job, Mike, and I am excited to read the books. I am assured by many people that there's a lot there that I'm going to love, and so I'm looking forward to it very much. And after that, at some point, the ordering here is maybe not exactly in stone, but I am going to be reading The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez, or Simon. I don't know if he pronounces it Simon or Simon, but anyway, I'm really looking forward to this. This is an author that Evie has been talking up a lot. She was only Evie. I got to interview this author on her channel, and I am excited. I actually thought I would be reading the Spear Cuts Through, what is that book called? I have that over here too. The Spear Cuts Through Water. I thought I would be reading that first, but this was selected for a book club that I am now part of. That is a group that includes Brian from BellTube, and John from Talking Story, and Mike from Mike's Book Reviews, and we are going to be reading this book together and chatting about it. And so that is the brainchild of, I think it was Brian. Yes, Brian is the one who came up with that. And I'm really excited to be part of that. I wanted to read this author anyway, so I'm really glad that that is what we selected. A book I've been meaning to read for a long time, and I'm just going to make myself get to it in the next month or two, is Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower. And my friend AP, A Critical Dragon, friend/nemesis, with the emphasis on nemesis, he made a video recently in which he talked about this book brilliantly, as he always does. I have to concede, he does have a few brain cells there. He's a pretty clever guy. That's what makes him a dangerous nemesis, after all. But he did a really good job of talking this book up and mentioning that it's actually set in 2024. So what better year to read this, right? And of course, it was written quite a while back. So it was supposed to be the future, but now it's the present. So no time like the present to get to Parable of the Sower. I'm going to be reading also, this is going to be June, I'm guessing, Jenny Wirtz's Peril's Gate. This is the next book in the Wars of Light and Shadow, book 6. This one is a chunker, and I'm really excited about it. I am really thrilled to be in the midst of this series. And by the way, the last book in the Wars of Light and Shadow, book 11, is coming out this month, everybody. So if you have been hesitating at all because the series is not finished, jump on in because everything is ready. Just a few days from when you'll see this video, depending on when you watch it, the last book is going to be out, Song of the Mysteries. And I am confident that this series, Wars of Light and Shadow, will go down as one of the greatest achievements, not only in the fantasy genre, but in fiction, in literature. And it is just that wonderful. It is that amazing. So yeah, I'll be reading that. And another book I want to get to in the next month or two is The Altar of My Fate by Michael Schultheis. And this is an author who, he sent me this book. Actually, he has sent me all 5 of the books in the Rostival saga. This is book 1. Now that I have finished all my SPFBO reads, I am now going to get to the many self-published fantasies that the authors have sent me over the last couple years. I have a backlog that I really want to get to, which is why I have recently decided that I am going to temporarily stop accepting books from authors for the moment. I just have so many that I need to get to, and I can't in good conscience accept more of them right now. As I get through my backlog, then I will probably at some point resume accepting books. But for now, I have so many that I want to get to, starting with Michael's book here, The Altar of My Fate. I'm really looking forward to it, and I have a list of several in the order I got them that I'm going to be getting to over the next few months. And hopefully I'll be able to keep that up even when SPFBO gets started again for me, because I have my team helping me out. So I'm not going to be quite as overwhelmed with all these wonderful books. So I'll be able to include some non-SPFBO self-published fantasy as well, because I do want to do my best to be as supportive as I can to the community. That is one of my goals here on the channel. So, yeah, that's what's upcoming for me. Also, I'm going to be having some Dear Dr. Fantasy episodes. I have Mike from Mike's Book Reviews. He was my very first guest for Dear Dr. Fantasy. He gave the series its name, Dear Dr. Fantasy. So it's time to revisit Mike. And I'm also going to be having a Dear Dr. Fantasy episode with Carlos and Yolanda from StoryTube to basically find out how traumatized they were by reading all of those books that I like. So we'll give them a therapy session for that. But also we'll talk about whatever. I'm going to be in a chat that is being hosted by Josh over at Red Fury Books on classic fantasy. That is a discussion that's also going to include A.P. Canavan from A Critical Dragon and Bridger from the Library Ladder. Have not had a chance yet to be in a conversation with Bridger. I've watched some of his videos. I'm very impressed with his channel, so it'll be great to be able to be in a conversation with him. And yeah, just all kinds of other stuff I'm getting up to here, having a great time. And I will be continuing my One Piece as well. I didn't have the One Piece there to show you physically because I am reading it digitally, but of course I'm going to continue to read One Piece and all these other wonderful books, and chatting with you guys in the comments, and being able to interact with all my friends here on this platform. So that is it from me for now. Until next time.